Welcome to Stoic Vivu, where ancient wisdom meets modern life. If you clicked on this video, chances are you're tired of the constant worry that seems to follow you everywhere. That knot in your stomach when you check your bank account. The racing thoughts at 3 a.m. about tomorrow's presentation. The endless what-ifs about your relationships, your health, your future. Here's the paradox that's driving you crazy. Even though we can't control the future, we're literally worrying ourselves sick because of it. And maybe that's precisely because we don't control it. This lack of control terrifies us, so we try to think our way into certainty, plan for every possibility, maybe even pray for specific outcomes, only to discover that the future remains as unpredictable as ever. The ancient Stoics understood something profound about this human predicament. They recognized that our obsession with controlling the uncontrollable is the root of our anxiety. More importantly, they developed practical strategies to break free from this exhausting cycle. Today, I'm sharing 7 of their most powerful antidotes to worry, techniques that have helped millions find peace in an uncertain world. In this video, you'll discover why your brain has become addicted to creating worst-case scenarios and how to break that toxic habit. You'll learn why those nightmare scenarios you replay in your mind almost never actually happen. I'll show you how to maintain your composure when everyone around you is losing theirs, and reveal the hidden power you've always possessed but probably never recognized. We'll explore why desperately wishing for life to be different is keeping you trapped in anxiety, and uncover the shocking truth about what you actually control versus what you think you control. Finally, you'll learn the counterintuitive secret to wanting whatever happens next. A mental shift that can transform your entire relationship with uncertainty. These aren't just philosophical theories gathering dust in ancient texts. These are practical tools you can start using today to reclaim your peace of mind. The Stoics, particularly Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, weren't ivory tower philosophers. They were emperors dealing with plagues and wars, advisors navigating political intrigue, and teachers facing personal hardship. They developed these techniques because they worked in the real world under real pressure. Here's what the Stoics knew that we've forgotten. Things that aren't up to us shouldn't be our focus. We ultimately cannot determine their trajectories, and trying to is not just a waste of time. It generates the very fear and anxiety that's making your life miserable. These emotions, what the Stoics called passions, are detrimental to your tranquility of mind. The question is, do you want to spend your precious time worrying about the next thing? Or do you want to learn how to maintain inner peace regardless of what life throws at you? If you're ready to stop letting worry control your life, then let's dive into these 7 ancient secrets that can finally set you free. 1. The toxic habit your brain can't stop doing. You're lying in bed in your Brooklyn apartment and it's 2 a.m. Tomorrow's the big presentation that could make or break your promotion. But instead of sleeping, your mind is running a horror movie on repeat. What if you forget your main points? What if the PowerPoint crashes? What if your boss asks that one question you can't answer? Before you know it, you've mentally lived through 17 different ways this presentation could destroy your career, and now your heart is racing like you just ran a marathon. Sound familiar? According to the Stoic philosopher Seneca the Younger, you've just fallen into one of humanity's most destructive mental traps. See, Seneca recognized something crucial about human nature. We're not just capable of worrying, we're actually addicted to it. He saw the act of worrying as a form of indulgence, like binge-watching our own mental disaster movies. Think about it. Warriors wallow in their many thoughts about the future, all of them stories created by themselves. Just like scrolling through social media or playing video games, we choose to entertain ourselves with these fantasies and keep them coming to occupy our minds. We convince ourselves we're being prepared or responsible, but Seneca saw through this self-deception. He wrote, "The mind at times fashions for itself false shapes of evil. When there are no signs that point to any evil, it twists into the worst construction some word of doubtful meaning, or it fancies some personal grudge to be more serious than it really is, considering not how angry the enemy is, but to what lengths he may go if he is angry." Let me translate that into modern terms. Your boss sends you a message, "We need to talk on Monday." That's it. 6 words. But your mind? Your mind writes an entire Netflix series. By Sunday night, you've convinced yourself you're getting fired, you'll lose your apartment, your partner will leave you, and you'll end up living under a bridge. All from 6 neutral words. Here's the scenario. A group of men approaches you on a dimly lit street in downtown Chicago. You don't know these men. You don't know where they're from or what their intentions are. But triggered by their appearance, your mind starts producing content that would make Stephen King jealous. They're going to rob you. No, worse, they're going to kidnap you. Your hands shake, your legs tremble, and sweat pours down your face. You text your friends that you might not make it home. Then what happens? These men walk past. One nods hello. Another is discussing his daughter's soccer game. They were just co-workers heading to their night shift. All that terror, all that panic for absolutely nothing. Seneca observed that these fantasies might seem useful because we believe we're anticipating the future, preparing ourselves for danger. But here's the truth bomb. By occupying our minds with all these imaginations and speculations, we're causing unnecessary suffering for ourselves and others. Panic is contagious. When we spread doom and gloom, others follow. Your anxiety about that presentation? Now your partner can't sleep either. You're catastrophizing about the economy? Now your whole friend group is in a spiral. More often than not, our fantasies about the future will not come to fruition. They don't exist outside of our minds. Yet many people spend every waking hour creating and entertaining these fantasies nonetheless. It's like we're all amateur screenwriters, but we only know how to write horror movies, and we're forcing ourselves to watch them on repeat. So what's Seneca's solution to this mental torture we inflict on ourselves? He said, "Life is not worth living, and there is no limit to our sorrows if we indulge our fears to the greatest possible extent. In this matter, let prudence help you, and contend with a resolute spirit even when it is in plain sight." Prudence. It's an old-fashioned word, but the concept is timeless. Seneca is talking about being mindful of our fantasies and keeping them at bay as much as possible. Even when there's a clear sign that a threat could come our way, we should still be prudent in regard to our thoughts about it. This isn't about being naive or unprepared. It's about recognizing that your mind is a drama queen that loves to catastrophize. It's about catching yourself when you start writing those mental horror movies and saying, "Hold up. Is this actually happening, or am I creating suffering that doesn't exist?" Think of it like this. Your mind is like a Hollywood studio and you are the director. You can choose to produce endless disaster films, or you can decide to stick to documentaries. Just the facts, no dramatic embellishment. When your boss says, "We need to talk," you acknowledge it means you'll have a conversation. Period. No script, no soundtrack, no dramatic lighting. This takes practice. Your brain has been producing these worry movies for years, maybe decades. It won't stop overnight. But every time you catch yourself mid-fantasy and bring yourself back to reality, you're building what Seneca called prudence. You're taking back control of your mental studio. The key takeaway here is that worry isn't preparation, it's entertainment. Dark, twisted, self-destructive entertainment that we've somehow convinced ourselves is necessary. But just like you can choose to turn off a horror movie that's too intense, you can choose to stop screening these disaster fantasies in your mind. That's the first step to breaking free from the worry that's been controlling your life. 2. Why your worst nightmares almost never come true. The scene is all too familiar. Sarah, a mother in suburban Los Angeles, watches her 16-year-old daughter apply lip gloss one more time before heading to her first real party. "I'll be home by midnight," her daughter promises, grabbing her phone and practically floating out the door. The moment that door closes, Sarah's mind shifts into overdrive. What if there's drinking at this party? What if someone spikes her drink? What if she gets in a car with someone who's been drinking? Within minutes, Sarah has mentally attended her daughter's funeral, planned what she'll say to the grief counselor, and imagined how she'll ever face another day. Her hands shake as she texts her daughter for the third time in 10 minutes. She calls her husband at work, voice trembling. "I think we made a terrible mistake letting her go." But here's what actually happens. Her daughter texts at 11:45 that she's getting a ride home from Emma's mom. She walks in at 12:10, chattering about the terrible music and how Jake tried to dance and looked ridiculous. She hugs her mom, says, "Thanks for letting me go," and heads to bed. Sarah spent 5 hours in mental agony. Her daughter spent 5 hours eating pizza and laughing with friends. This gap between our catastrophic predictions and mundane reality isn't new. 2,000 years ago, Seneca was already calling out this pattern. He understood that we humans have a spectacular talent for turning molehills into mountains, then mountains into volcanoes, then volcanoes into world-ending catastrophes, all without leaving our living rooms. Consider this: you're at your desk in your Miami office when your phone buzzes. It's your doctor's office. "We need to discuss your test results. Can you come in tomorrow?" Instantly, your mind becomes a medical drama writer. "It's cancer." "No, it's something worse." You start mentally dividing up your possessions, wondering who'll take care of your dog, imagining your own memorial service. The next day, your cholesterol is slightly elevated. The doctor suggests eating less red meat. Seneca witnessed this pattern constantly in ancient Rome, and he saw how it destroyed people's peace of mind. But he also noticed something crucial: these mental horror shows we create rarely match reality. He understood that by occupying our minds with wild speculations and imaginations, we cause unnecessary suffering not just for ourselves, but for everyone around us. Think about how panic spreads. You tell your coworker you're worried about layoffs because you saw the CEO frowning in the elevator. They tell someone else, adding their own spin, "I heard layoffs are coming." By lunch, half the office is updating their resumes and the other half is calculating how long their savings will last. All because someone frowned. Maybe they had indigestion. Maybe they were thinking about their golf game. But no, in our minds, it became an economic apocalypse. Here's a modern scenario that plays out thousands of times daily across America. You post a photo on Instagram from your vacation in Austin. An hour later, your boss likes everyone's photos from the company happy hour, except yours. Your mind immediately goes into overdrive. She hates you. She's building a case to fire you. You spend the rest of your vacation crafting mental arguments for why you deserve to keep your job, rehearsing conversations that will never happen, and defending yourself against accusations that exist only in your imagination. Monday morning, your boss greets you warmly and asks about your trip. Turns out Instagram's algorithm just didn't show her your post. You tortured yourself for a week over a glitch in an app. Seneca put it bluntly: life is not worth living, and there is no limit to our sorrows if we indulge our fears to the greatest possible extent. Notice he said indulge. That's the key word. We're not just experiencing these fears, we're indulging in them, feeding them, nurturing them like toxic pets. But why do we do this to ourselves? Part of it is evolutionary. Our ancestors who assumed that rustling in the bushes was a tiger lived longer than those who assumed it was the wind. But we're not in the jungle anymore. That rustling is probably your neighbor taking out their recycling, not a predator stalking you. Yet our brains haven't gotten the memo. Another part is that we've confused worry with care. We think that by torturing ourselves with worst-case scenarios about our children, we're being good parents. By panicking about our health, we're being responsible. By catastrophizing about our relationships, we're showing we care. But Seneca saw through this illusion. Worry isn't love. Anxiety isn't a responsibility. They're just suffering with better PR. Let me share how this plays out in real life. You're driving through Phoenix when your check engine light comes on. Immediately, your mind starts calculating. It's the transmission. That's $4,000 you don't have. You'll have to max out your credit cards. The interest will spiral. You'll never pay it off. You'll have to sell the car, but how will you get to work? You'll lose your job. You'll lose everything. You pull into the mechanic already defeated by a future that hasn't happened. The diagnosis? Your gas cap wasn't tight. The mechanic tightens it for free and sends you on your way. All that mental anguish, all those imagined futures of financial ruin over a loose gas cap. Seneca's message is clear. More often than not, our fantasies about the future will not come to fruition. They don't exist outside of our minds. Yet many people spend every waking hour creating and entertaining these fantasies nonetheless. We're like doom scrolling through futures that will never exist, getting stressed about problems we'll never have, grieving losses that won't occur. The antidote Seneca offers is what he calls prudence, being mindful of our fantasies and keeping them at bay. This doesn't mean being unprepared or careless. It means recognizing the difference between reasonable preparation and mental torture. Yes, save money for emergencies. No, don't spend Sunday night imagining 17 different emergencies in vivid detail. In essence, our worst nightmares almost never come true because they're products of our imagination running wild, not accurate predictions of the future. That presentation you're dreading? You'll probably do fine. That medical test? It's likely nothing serious. That conversation you're avoiding? It won't be as bad as the version you've rehearsed 100 times in your head. The universe has plenty of real challenges without us inventing new ones. So the next time your mind starts producing its latest disaster film, remember Seneca's wisdom: these are fantasies, not prophecies. And unlike prophecies, you have the power to stop believing in them. 3. How to stay calm when everyone else is panicking. You're sitting in your Chicago office when the email lands like a bomb in everyone's inbox. All hands meeting. Organizational restructuring announcement. 3 p.m. today. Within seconds, the entire floor erupts. Slack channels light up with panicked messages. People huddle in corners, voices rising with each speculation. I heard they're closing our entire division. My friend at corporate said it's a 40% reduction. We're all done for. By 2:30, half your coworkers are already updating their LinkedIn profiles. Others are calculating severance packages for jobs they haven't lost yet. The woman next to you is literally crying at her desk. Your manager looks like he's aged 5 years in 5 minutes. The panic is so thick you could cut it with a knife. But here's where ancient wisdom meets modern chaos. 2,000 years ago, Epictetus told a story about 2 scouts sent to check on Rome that perfectly captures what's happening in your office right now. Both scouts saw the exact same thing: death, exile, poverty. But their reports couldn't have been more different. The first scout, let's call him the cowardly scout, came back terrified. "It's horrible," he cried. "There's death everywhere. People in exile. Poverty in the streets. The enemy is upon us. We're doomed." His panic infected everyone who heard him. Soon, the entire camp was in chaos, soldiers deserting, families fleeing, everyone consumed by the terror of an enemy that hadn't even arrived. But the second scout, Diogenes, saw the same death, exile, and poverty. His report? All is full of peace. When questioned about how he could possibly say that, he responded, "Death is not evil since it is not dishonorable. To sleep on the bare ground is the softest couch. There's no enemy near." People thought he was insane. How could he see peace where the other scouts saw catastrophe? Diogenes explained, "I have not been struck with any missile, have I, or received any wound? I have not fled from anyone, have I?" In other words, the danger existed only in the first scout's interpretation, not in reality. Now, back to your Chicago office. 3 o'clock arrives. The CEO announces they're restructuring to create a new innovation division. They're actually hiring more people. The only change? They're moving the coffee machines to a different floor. That's it. All that panic, all that terror over coffee machine relocation. This scenario plays out constantly in modern life. Remember March 2020? The moment lockdowns were announced, people stampeded to grocery stores like they were preparing for nuclear winter. Shopping carts overflowing with toilet paper, pasta shelves stripped bare, frozen food sections looking like they'd been hit by locusts. People are physically fighting over the last pack of paper towels. But what actually happened? Grocery stores stayed open. Supply chains kept running. Nobody actually ran out of toilet paper unless they failed to buy any during the panic. The real shortage was caused by the panic itself, not any actual supply problem. Classic cowardly scout behavior, seeing catastrophe where there was only temporary inconvenience. Here's the crucial difference Epictetus wanted us to understand. It's not the situation itself, but how we perceive it that hurts us. The cowardly scout and Diogenes both encountered the same reality. But the scout's perception created suffering that didn't need to exist. Let's say you're in a Seattle restaurant when someone shouts fire. Half the diners immediately panic, knocking over chairs, pushing toward exits, creating actual danger where none existed. But you take a breath and look around. No smoke, no flames, no alarm. Turns out someone just saw the chef flambeing a dessert. The only real danger came from the panic, not from any actual fire. This is what Epictetus meant when he talked about indifference, things that are neither good nor bad in themselves. Death, illness, job loss, relationship changes, these are what Stoics call dispreferred indifference. Sure, we'd rather avoid them, but they don't have to destroy our inner peace. They're like weather, sometimes sunny, sometimes stormy, but neither morally good nor evil. Think about how this applies to modern scenarios. Your teenager comes home with a tattoo. You can be the cowardly scout. This is a disaster. You've ruined your future. No employer will hire you. You'll never get into college. Or you can be Diogenes. It's ink on skin. It doesn't change who you are or what you're capable of achieving. Your investment portfolio drops 20%. Cowardly scout, I'm ruined. I'll have to work until I'm 90. I'll die broke. Diogenes, the numbers on a screen went down. I'm still the same person with the same skills and abilities. Markets go up and down. This changes nothing about my actual life today. The power of this perspective hit me when I witnessed it firsthand. During a flight to Denver, we hit severe turbulence. The plane dropped suddenly, drinks flying, people screaming. One woman started hyperventilating, convinced we were crashing. Another passenger began praying loudly, which made everyone more nervous. The panic spread like wildfire. But across the aisle, an older gentleman calmly continued reading his book, occasionally glancing up with mild interest like he was watching a moderately entertaining show. When we landed safely, as 99.9% of flights do, I asked him how he stayed so calm. He smiled and said, "I can't fly the plane. Panicking wouldn't help even if we were crashing. So why waste energy on fear?" That's Diogenes' energy in modern times. He saw the same turbulence that everyone else did. He just didn't add a catastrophic story to it. So, how do you become Diogenes instead of the cowardly scout? First, recognize that most people are terrible scouts. They report danger where there's only change, catastrophe where there's only inconvenience. When everyone around you is panicking, ask yourself, what am I actually observing versus what story am I adding to it? Second, check for actual evidence of danger. As Diogenes said, have I been struck with any missile? Have I received any wounds? In modern terms, has anyone actually been fired yet? Is the building actually on fire? Is the plane actually crashing? Usually, the answer is no, the danger exists only in collective imagination. Third, remember that even genuinely difficult situations aren't terrible in the Stoic sense. Lost your job? That's a dispreferred indifferent, not a moral catastrophe. Getting divorced? Challenging, yes, but it doesn't make you a bad person or doom you to eternal misery. These events don't conflict with your ability to live virtuously, to be a good person, to find meaning and peace. Ultimately, when everyone else is panicking, you have a choice. You can join the cowardly scouts, spreading fear and chaos based on imagination rather than reality. Or you can be like Diogenes, seeing clearly, responding calmly, recognizing that most emergencies are just normal life dressed up in scary costumes by our overactive minds. The situation hasn't changed, only your perception of it. And unlike the situation, your perception is entirely under your control. For the hidden power you've had all along. You're a software engineer in San Francisco, and the tech world feels like it's collapsing around you. Every morning brings news of another round of layoffs. Your LinkedIn feed is full of open-to-work banners from people you thought had bulletproof careers. The startup that was trying to poach you 6 months ago just folded. Your own company's stock is down 60%. You lie awake at night feeling completely powerless, at the mercy of forces beyond your control, market conditions, interest rates, venture capital moods, the whims of billionaire CEOs. But here's what the ancient Stoics understood that we've forgotten. Even when everything external is chaos, you possess a power that no market crash, no layoff, no economic downturn can touch. It's a power so fundamental that the Stoics believed the gods themselves gave it to us as our birthright. According to Stoic philosophy, Zeus, the king of the gods, runs the universe. He decides what happens to us mortals, who gets rich, who goes broke, who gets sick, who stays healthy, who lives, who dies. No amount of thinking, worrying, or even praying can override his decisions. Zeus is, as they say in tech, the ultimate admin with root access to reality. Sounds pretty depressing, right? Like we're just puppets dancing on divine strings? But here's where it gets interesting. The Stoics believed that Zeus, in his wisdom, gave humans one extraordinary gift: the power of choice. We can't control what happens to us, but we have absolute sovereignty over how we respond. Think about what this really means. You're in a Denver hospital waiting room. The doctor walks in with test results, and it's not good news. In that moment, Zeus or fate or the universe or random biological processes, pick your preferred terminology, has decided your health situation. That's not in your control. But what is in your control? Everything that matters. How do you process this information? Whether you collapse into despair or face it with courage. Whether you become bitter or find meaning. Whether you push loved ones away or draw them closer. Whether you waste your remaining time in self-pity or use it purposefully. Whether you let fear dominate your days or choose presence and gratitude. No external force, not even Zeus himself, can reach into your mind and force you to choose despair over hope, bitterness over acceptance, fear over courage. That internal citadel, as Marcus Aurelius called it, is yours alone. Let me give you a modern example. You're a restaurant owner in Portland. The pandemic hits. The government orders you shut down. Your revenue drops to zero overnight. Your landlord still wants rent. Your employees need paychecks. Your suppliers demand payment. By any objective measure, you're powerless against these massive forces. But watch what happens when people exercise their hidden power. One restaurant owner looks at the situation and chooses defeat. I'm ruined. 20 years of work destroyed. I'll never recover. They spiral into depression, relationships crumble, and health deteriorates. The external situation created an opening, but they chose the path of collapse. Another owner faces the identical situation but makes different choices. Okay, I can't control the shutdown. What can I control? My response, my creativity, my relationships. They choose to pivot, starting meal delivery, creating cookbook videos, and building deeper community connections. Same Zeus-ordained situation, completely different outcome based on the choices made. This isn't toxic positivity or pretending bad things are good. The Stoics were ruthlessly realistic. Sometimes Zeus deals you a terrible hand. You might face bankruptcy, disease, loss of loved ones, or natural disasters. The Stoics never said, "Just think positive." They said something far more powerful. Even in the worst circumstances, you retain the power to choose your response, and that choice shapes who you become. Consider a scenario that's playing out across America right now. You're a teacher in Phoenix, overwhelmed by impossible demands. Budget cuts mean larger classes. Parents blame you for everything. Administration piles on paperwork. Students seem more challenging each year. The education system feels broken beyond repair. You can't fix the system, that's Zeus's department. But you still have choices. You can choose bitterness. This is hopeless. These kids are doomed. Society doesn't value education. Or you can choose purpose. I can't fix the system, but I can impact the 30 kids in my classroom. I can't control the budget, but I can control how I show up each day. I can't make parents reasonable, but I can model patience and professionalism. Same broken system, same challenges, but vastly different experiences based on exercising the power of choice. The Stoics would say that even in extreme situations, this power remains. Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor, though not a Stoic per se, embodied this principle when he wrote, "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing, the last of human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances." Here's where this gets practical for your daily life. You're stuck in Atlanta traffic. Again, GPS says you'll be an hour late. Your blood pressure rises, you're pounding the steering wheel, cursing every other driver. But then you remember, Zeus controls traffic. You control your response. You can choose rage, letting this hour be stolen twice, once by traffic, once by your anger. Or you can choose differently. Turn on that podcast you never have time for. Call your mom. Practice gratitude that you have a car and somewhere to go. Use it as meditation time. The traffic doesn't change, but your experience of it transforms completely. This power extends to every area of life. Your spouse leaves you? Zeus controls their actions. You control whether you become bitter or grow. Your business fails? Zeus controls market conditions. You control whether you learn and try again or give up forever. Does your health decline? Zeus controls biology. You control whether you focus on what you can still do or mourn what you can't. Marcus Aurelius, who faced plagues, wars, and betrayals as Roman emperor, put it this way: confine yourself to the present. In other words, stop trying to control Zeus's job, the future, other people, external events, and focus on your job, your choices, right now, in this moment. This isn't about becoming passive or fatalistic. The Stoics were incredibly active and engaged with life, but they understood the difference between their sphere of control and Zeus's. They put enormous energy into what they could control, their choices, efforts, attitudes, actions, and accepted what they couldn't with equanimity. Therefore, it's clear that you've always had this power. Every moment of every day, regardless of circumstances, you're making choices that shape your character and experience. The question isn't whether you have power, you do. The question is whether you'll recognize it, claim it, and use it wisely. Because while Zeus might control the game board, you're the only one who controls how you play your pieces. 5. Stop begging life to be different. Imagine, you're an entrepreneur in Miami, and your entire identity is wrapped up in your startup success. Every morning, you wake up and immediately check your metrics. Every night, you fall asleep running scenarios. You've created vision boards, repeated affirmations, even hired a manifestation coach who promised the universe would deliver success if you just believed hard enough. You pray to whatever force might be listening. Please let this deal close. Please let the funding come through. Please make this work. You're not alone. Millions of Americans are doing the same thing right now, begging life, the universe, God, or fate to deliver specific outcomes. We desperately want that promotion, that relationship, that house, that success. We think if we want it badly enough, worry about it intensely enough, or pray specifically enough, we can somehow bend reality to our will. But Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the ancient world, saw through this illusion. In his private journal, later published as Meditations, he wrote something that might shock our manifestation-obsessed culture. Either the gods have power or they don't. If they don't, why pray? If they do, then why not pray for something else instead of for things to happen or not to happen? Pray not to feel fear, or desire, or grief. If the gods can do anything, they can surely do that for us. Let that sink in. The Roman emperor, who could have almost anything he wanted, is saying that praying for specific outcomes is missing the point entirely. He continues, "But those are things the gods left up to me. Then isn't it better to do what's up to you, like a free man, than to be passively controlled by what isn't, like a slave or beggar?" There's that word, beggar. When we desperately wish for specific outcomes, we become beggars, hands outstretched, hoping the universe will drop what we want into our palms. We make our happiness contingent on cosmic charity. Consider this modern scenario. You're a real estate agent in Nashville. The market has shifted, and deals are falling through left and right. You had 5 closings lined up, enough to cover your kids' college tuition. One by one, they collapse. Financing falls through. Buyers get cold feet. Sellers change their minds. You find yourself literally begging, "Please, just let one of these work out. I need this. My family needs this." But notice what's happening. You're putting your peace of mind, your sense of worth, your emotional state in the hands of forces completely outside your control: interest rates, buyer psychology, market conditions. You've become a beggar to circumstances, desperately hoping external events will align with your wishes. The Stoics would say you're focusing on the wrong thing entirely. Marcus Aurelius presents two approaches to life. Focus on things up to us, our choices, efforts, attitudes, or pray to the gods to make things happen or not happen, like beggars. The choice seems obvious when stated so starkly, yet most of us spend our lives as beggars. Here's what this looks like in everyday life. You're a single parent in Boston, and your teenage son is struggling. Grades dropping, attitude worsening, hanging with questionable friends. Every night you lie awake begging, please let him turn around. Please don't let him throw his life away. Please make him see sense. But your son's choices aren't up to you. They're in Zeus's department, or more accurately, in your son's own sphere of control. By desperately wishing for him to change, you're making yourself a slave to his decisions. Your happiness becomes hostage to a teenager's whims. What's the alternative? Focus on what is up to you, your responses, your boundaries, your example, your unconditional love, coupled with clear consequences. Your own emotional regulation. These are your powers, and they're far more potent than any amount of begging the universe. The same principle applies everywhere. You're begging for your startup to succeed? Focus instead on what you control, your effort, innovation, persistence, and learning from failures. Begging for your health to improve? Focus on your choices: diet, exercise, sleep, stress management, and following medical advice. Begging for someone to love you? Focus on being lovable, kind, authentic, emotionally healthy, genuinely interested in others. This shift from begging to acting is transformative. A software developer in Seattle loses her job during industry layoffs. She could spend months begging the universe, please let me find something soon. Please let a company hire me. Please don't let my savings run out. Living in constant anxiety, refreshing job boards obsessively, happiness held hostage by hiring managers' decisions. Or she could recognize what Marcus calls the free man approach. Update skills, that's in her control. Network authentically, her choice. Prepare thoroughly for interviews, her responsibility. Maintain health and relationships during the search, her power. The job offer itself? That's Zeus's timing. But everything that makes her a strong candidate? That's all hers. The Stoics aren't saying not to have preferences. Of course, you'd prefer your business succeeds, your health improves, and your relationships flourish. But they're pointing out the crucial difference between preference and desperate need, between working towards something and making your well-being dependent on getting it. When you stop begging life to be different, something remarkable happens. You reclaim your power. You're no longer a puppet dancing to external strings. You're not checking your phone every 5 minutes, hoping for that message that will save you. You're not lying awake bargaining with the universe. You're free. A teacher in Phoenix shared this transformation with me. For years, she begged for smaller classes, better resources, and more supportive administration. She was miserable, bitter, and counting days to retirement. Then she encountered Stoic philosophy and asked herself, what if I stopped begging for the system to change and focused on what I actually control? She still had preferences. Who wouldn't want smaller classes? But she stopped making her job satisfaction dependent on getting them. She focused on her teaching methods, her relationships with students, and her own professional growth. Same broken system, but she was no longer its beggar. She was free to teach with joy regardless of circumstances. Marcus Aurelius asks pointedly, "And what makes you think the gods don't care about what's up to us?" In other words, if there are divine forces, wouldn't they be more impressed by someone taking responsibility than someone constantly begging for favors? Wouldn't they prefer to see us using the powers we have rather than whining about powers we lack? This, in turn, leads to a profound realization. When we stop begging life to be different and start working with what is, we often find that life improves anyway. Not through cosmic intervention, but through the natural consequences of focused action. The entrepreneur who stops desperately manifesting success and starts systematically improving their product often finds success. The person who stops begging for love and starts working on themselves often finds healthy relationships. It's not magic, it's the logical result of putting energy where it actually makes a difference. 6. The shocking truth about what you actually control. A mother in Boston sits at her kitchen table, laptop open to her son's college portal. He's 22, a senior, and failing 3 classes. She's already called the dean twice this week. She's drafted emails to his professors. She's researched tutors, therapists, and even considered hiring someone to write his papers. Her husband finds her at 3 a.m. still strategizing. "I can control this," she insists. "I just need the right approach. I can fix him." But here's the shocking truth that would have made perfect sense to Epictetus 2,000 years ago. She controls none of it. Not her son's motivation. Not his choices. Not his future. Her desperate attempts at control are like trying to direct the wind by blowing really hard in the opposite direction. Epictetus, born a slave who became one of philosophy's greatest teachers, had a radical message about control that most people find almost impossible to accept. In his Enchiridion, he wrote, "If you wish to have your children, wife, and friends live forever, you're stupid because you wish to control things that don't belong to you." Harsh? Maybe. True? Absolutely. Let's translate this to modern life. You wish your spouse would stop drinking? Not your control. Want your boss to recognize your brilliance? Not your control. Need your elderly parents to take their medication? Not your control. Desperate for your best friend to leave that toxic relationship? Not your control. Here's where it gets even more shocking. That list of things outside your control? It's way longer than you think. Your health, you can influence it, but you can't control when disease or accident strikes. Your reputation, you can act with integrity, but you can't control what people say. Your job security, you can work hard, but you can't control market forces or management decisions. Your children's happiness, you can love them, but you can't live their lives. Your partner's feelings, you can be loving, but you can't manufacture their emotions. The economy, the weather, traffic, other people's opinions, aging, death, all outside your control. So what's left? What do you actually control? Epictetus makes it crystal clear. Exercise, therefore, what is in your control? And what's that? Your choices. Your responses, your efforts, your attitudes, your values, your actions. That's it. That's the entire list. Visualize this. You're a financial advisor in Phoenix. Your biggest client, representing 40% of your income, calls to say they're moving their portfolio to a competitor. Your mind races. "I can save this. I'll offer better rates. I'll show them projections. I'll remind them of our history. I'll guilt them about loyalty. I can control this outcome." But you can't. You can control making the call, presenting your case professionally, offering competitive terms. You cannot control their decision. They might stay, they might go. That's in their sphere of control, not yours. The shocking truth? You never had control over keeping them. You only had control over how you served them. This principle extends everywhere, shattering illusions we desperately maintain. That promotion you're certain you deserve? You control the quality of your work and how you present it. You don't control whether you get promoted. Your teenager's college choices? You control providing information and support. You don't control where they apply or what they choose. Your health after a diagnosis? You control the following treatment, lifestyle changes, and attitude. You don't control whether the treatment works. A small business owner in Detroit learned this the hard way. For years, she believed she could control her business's success through sheer will. 16-hour days, perfect customer service, constant innovation. When COVID hit and her business struggled despite everything, she had a breakdown. I did everything right, she sobbed. I controlled every variable. But she hadn't. She never could. She controlled her efforts, not outcomes. She controlled her strategies, not customer behavior. She controlled her responses to challenges, not whether challenges arose. The illusion of control had set her up for devastation. Epictetus offers a stark formula. He is the master of every other person who is able to confer or remove whatever that person wishes either to have or to avoid. Whoever then would be free, let him wish nothing, let him decline nothing, which depends on others, else he must necessarily be a slave. Modern translation? If your happiness depends on your kids making good choices, you're enslaved to your kids. If your peace depends on your spouse changing, you're enslaved to your spouse. If your self-worth depends on professional success, you're enslaved to your career. Every external dependency is a chain. Here's the scenario playing out in millions of homes. You're trying to control your aging mother's decisions in Chicago. She won't move to assisted living, won't accept help, won't stop driving despite close calls. You've tried reasoning, pleading, manipulating, even legal measures. Nothing works. You're exhausted, resentful, consumed by the need to control someone who won't be controlled. The shocking truth? You never had that power. You have influence, suggestions, support to offer. But her choices? Those belong to her until the day she dies or loses capacity. Your desperate need to control her is making both of you miserable while changing nothing. So what does real control look like? A man in Seattle discovers his wife has been having an affair. His world shatters. First instinct, control her. Monitor phones, demand passwords, issue ultimatums. But he can't control her fidelity, that's her choice. What can he control? His response. His boundaries. His decision to stay or leave, his healing process, his future actions, whether he becomes bitter or grows. These are his actual powers. Or consider a nurse in Miami during peak COVID. She couldn't control the virus, the overwhelmed system, the lack of supplies, which patients lived or died. What could she control? Showing up, following protocols, treating each patient with dignity, managing her own mental health, supporting colleagues. Those were her only real controls, and focusing on them kept her sane while others burned out trying to control the uncontrollable. The most shocking part? When you truly grasp what you don't control, it's terrifying, then liberating, then empowering. Because energy spent trying to control others is energy stolen from controlling yourself. Every minute scheming to change someone else is a minute not spent on your own growth. A father in Portland realized this when his daughter dropped out of college to become an artist. He spent months trying to control her, bribes, threats, manipulation. Nothing worked. Finally, exhausted, he asked himself, what do I actually control here? His answer, how I treat her. Whether I support her dreams or damage our relationship. My own fears about her future. My definition of success. He stopped trying to control her path and focused on controlling his response. Result? Their relationship healed. She felt supported. And ironically, feeling free from his control, she eventually chose to finish her degree on her terms, not his. Clearly, then, the shocking truth about control is this: you control almost nothing external, but you have complete sovereignty over your internal world. Your thoughts, choices, responses, efforts, these are your kingdom. Everything else? That belongs to others, to fate, to forces beyond your reach. The sooner you accept this, the sooner you stop being a slave to the uncontrollable and start being master of yourself. 7. How to want whatever happens next. You're a retiree in Phoenix and the test results just came back. It's Parkinson's. Your hands shake as you process this news. The future you'd imagined, traveling with your spouse, playing with grandchildren, finally writing that novel, suddenly looks very different. Your mind rebels against this reality. This isn't what you wanted. This isn't what you planned. This isn't fair. But what if there was a way to find peace even with this diagnosis? Not through denial or toxic positivity, but through a radical shift in how you relate to whatever life brings? The Stoics called this principle amor fati, loving your fate. But before you dismiss this as impossible, let me show you what it really means. Epictetus understood that our suffering comes from a simple source: the gap between what we want to happen and what actually happens. We want health, we get illness. We want success, but we get failure. We want love, we get loneliness. This gap is where all our misery lives. He presents two solutions to this problem. The first solution is to somehow manipulate fate into giving us exactly what we want, so we don't have to worry about not getting it. Millions try this approach daily: vision boards, manifestation, desperate prayers, magical thinking. But as the Stoics correctly observed, this is impossible. You cannot bend reality to your will through wanting it hard enough. The second solution sounds insane at first: wish for exactly what will happen. Want what you get. Embrace what comes. Not because it's pleasant, but because fighting reality is like punching the ocean, exhausting, futile, and you're the only one who gets hurt. Let me illustrate this with a modern example. You're driving to the most important job interview of your life in Los Angeles. Traffic is flowing perfectly. Then sudden gridlock. An accident ahead. You're going to be late. Your first instinct is rage, despair, frantic phone calls. But what if instead you thought, this is what's happening? Fighting it changes nothing. How can I work with this reality? You call ahead calmly, explain the situation. You use the time to review your notes one more time. You practice deep breathing instead of shallow panic. You arrive late but composed, not frazzled. The interviewers, stuck in the same traffic earlier, completely understand. Your calm handling of adversity actually impresses them more than perfect punctuality would have. This isn't about being passive or giving up. It's about recognizing what Epictetus taught: if you wish to have your desires undisappointed, this is in your own control. How? By aligning your desires with reality rather than demanding reality align with your desires. Consider this: a restaurant owner in Nashville watches flooding destroy her business. 20 years of work underwater. First response: this can't be happening. This is a nightmare. I refuse to accept this. But the water doesn't care about her acceptance. It rises anyway. Now imagine a different response: this is what happened. I can't unwish the flood. What's my next move? She channels all that energy from denial into action. Insurance claims, community support, innovative rebuilding plans. Same flood, same loss, but transforming resistance into response. The Stoics aren't suggesting you celebrate tragedies. They're pointing out that when you stop wasting energy fighting what already is, you have more energy for dealing with it effectively. When you want what happens, meaning you accept reality as your starting point, you become incredibly powerful. Here's how this plays out in relationships. Your partner of 15 years announces they want a divorce. Your world crumbles. Every fiber of your being screams, no. This isn't happening. I don't want this. But they've made their choice. That's reality. You can spend years in bitter denial, making everyone miserable. Or you can say, this is what's happening. I don't like it, but fighting reality won't change it. How do I move forward from here? A woman in Seattle told me her story. Her husband left suddenly, emptying their bank account. She spent 6 months in pure resistance, lawyers, private investigators, revenge fantasies. Nothing brought him back or recovered the money. Finally, exhausted, she tried the Stoic approach. This happened. He's gone. The money's gone. What now? Once she stopped fighting the past and started working with the present, everything shifted. She rebuilt her finances, found unexpected strength, created a life she actually preferred to her marriage. I would never choose what happened, she said, but refusing to accept it was killing me twice, once from his actions, once from my resistance. This principle applies to everything. Market crash wipes out your retirement? You can rage against Wall Street for years or accept this new starting point and rebuild. Does chronic illness change your abilities? You can mourn your old life forever or discover what's possible within new limitations. Does your adult child make choices you hate? You can exhaust yourself trying to control them or accept their autonomy and focus on your response. The most powerful example might be aging itself. You're in your 60s in Denver and your body isn't cooperating anymore. Knees hurt. Memory slips. Energy fades. You can spend your remaining years angry at your body, desperately trying to turn back time. Or you can want what happens, accept the natural process while maximizing what each stage offers. This doesn't mean resignation. A man diagnosed with diabetes doesn't say, I want this disease. He says, this is my reality. I accept this starting point. Now, within this reality, I'll make the best choices possible. He wants what happened in the sense that he wastes no energy on denial, channeling everything into management and adaptation. Epictetus stated that if our contentment doesn't depend on external circumstances, we're truly free. Nothing that happens will disturb us. This isn't because we're emotionless robots. It's because we've stopped making our peace conditional on getting our preferred outcomes. Think about what this means practically. Tomorrow, anything could happen. You could lose your job, find love, get sick, win the lottery, face betrayal, or discover opportunity. If your well-being depends on getting only the good outcomes, you're at life's mercy. But if you can want whatever happens, not in the sense of preferring disasters, but in accepting reality as your working material, then you're unshakable. A teacher in Miami demonstrated this perfectly. Budget cuts eliminated her position after 20 years. Same day, her car broke down. That evening, her mother called with a cancer diagnosis. Any one of these would justify despair. All three at once? Devastating. But she'd been practicing Stoic principles. Okay, she said. This is my reality now. No job, no car, sick mother. Wishing it were different changes nothing. What's needed? She used her severance to fix the car, moved in with her mother to help with treatment, and found online tutoring work she could do from home. Not the life she'd planned, but by wanting what happened, accepting reality, she found a path through. Ultimately, learning to want whatever happens next isn't about becoming indifferent to life. It's about becoming invincible to life's changes. When you embrace anything the future provides, what's left to worry about? When you can work with any reality, what can truly defeat you? When your peace doesn't depend on getting specific outcomes, who or what can take that peace away? We've just traveled through 7 ancient secrets that can revolutionize your relationship with worry and anxiety. These aren't just philosophical ideas, they're practical tools that have helped millions find peace in chaos. And now they're yours. Let's recap what you've discovered. First, your brain's addiction to creating worst-case scenarios is just mental junk food that poisons your peace. You can stop indulging anytime. Second, those catastrophic predictions rarely come true. Your mind is a terrible fortune teller. Third, like Diogenes, you can observe reality without adding catastrophic interpretation. When others panic, you see clearly. Fourth, you recognized your hidden power, the power of choice. No matter what life throws at you, you retain sovereignty over your responses. This superpower can't be taken away. Fifth, you learn to stop begging fate for specific outcomes. Focus energy where it matters, on your own actions. Sixth, you face the truth about control. Almost everything you think you control, you don't. But what you do control, your thoughts, choices, responses, is enough. Finally, you discovered ultimate freedom, wanting whatever happens. Working with reality, not against it. These principles form your new superpower against anxiety. Not a power that prevents challenges, but one that prevents external events from destroying internal peace. You'll have preferences without being enslaved. You'll pursue goals without depending on them for happiness. Think what this means starting now. That situation worrying you? You have new tools. Instead of mental horror movies, practice prudence. Instead of panicking about possibilities, focus on what you control. Instead of begging life to meet demands, work skillfully with reality. The Stoics understood what we've forgotten. Peace isn't found in controlling circumstances, but in mastering responses. It's not about getting the life you want, it's about wanting the life you get while improving what you can. Marcus Aurelius faced plagues and wars. Seneca navigated political intrigue. Epictetus overcame slavery. They proved these principles work under the harshest conditions. If they found peace there, you can find peace in your job stress, relationship problems, health concerns, or financial worries. Different challenges, same tools. Here's my challenge: pick one principle and practice it this week. When creating catastrophic fantasies, return to reality. When panic spreads, be the calm observer. When feeling powerless, remember what you control. Small steps create transformation. If this video helped you see anxiety differently, share it with someone who needs these messages. Subscribe to Stoic Vivu for more practical, ancient wisdom. Hit like if you're ready to stop letting worry control your life. And remember, you have tools that have worked for thousands of years. Use them. Your anxiety wants you believing you're powerless against uncertainty. But now you know better. You have choice in every moment, control over what matters most, ability to find peace regardless of circumstances. That's not just philosophy, that's your new superpower. Will you use it?